Hi guys, welcome back to Alamat, where we translate and narrate Philippine myths, urban legends, and horror stories to share with the world. Our tale for this week is about a few experiences of the author when they visited the Philippines. This tale is called Can Ghosts Forcefully Open Doors by Chani Bun. So this happened when I was 13 and visiting my sisters in the Philippines. This experience stuck with me till this day because I can't explain it. It's also interesting to hear the thoughts about it when I tell people the story. It's going to be a bit long, so you can skip to the TLDR if you want. So, like I mentioned, I visited my sisters because I live in Germany with my mother, my stepdad, and my little brother. So, it was my vacation time, and I hadn't seen them in 8 years. My sisters were 23 and 27 at this time. They lived in a little city a few hours away from Manila. They rented a little apartment in a row of apartments with barely 4 small rooms and 1 story high. So this was on the ground level. That type of apartment was common there, for it is cheap and enough to live in. In front of that house was a street with a fountain and pump where people can gather water for bathing and cooking, and behind their apartment there was a huge field. I was standing in the kitchen, and I remembered looking at it and wondering why there was a field and not any other building because it was a lot of space. And I also thought if it belongs to someone. So I asked the younger of my sisters if there is an owner to that field, which she responded with, "Yes, it belongs to a man. We see him sometimes standing on the field." Okay, explanation's done. I didn't really need to hear anything else and wanted to wash the dishes when she continued, "But he is dead." Of course, I stopped and looked at her and questioned her sanity. "So how could he stand there then? Is he a ghost?" "No shit, Sherlock. I didn't believe in ghosts. I'm also agnostic. My mom always tried to teach me the Catholic ways when we came to Germany when I was 4, but it didn't really stick. She also lost her devotion to the church when she came to Germany. We didn't really live in a religious household. It's different in the Philippines. They're mad religious, also pretty into the paranormal and bad omen stuff. Like ghosts and little elves are everywhere. Don't touch kids on the head or look directly at a baby, for it brings bad luck. All those stuff. But knowing my sister, I was thinking that she was trolling me. She always was the rebellious, joking one. So I asked her if he's still standing there. She said, "Every now and then, but I did go to the priest. He told me to light up a candle and pray for that man. Since then, he's not there that much anymore." I still thought she was bullshitting me, so I went to the front porch where my mother and some neighbors sat and talked to each other. I told my mother what my sister just told me. She, of course, was angry at her for telling me such lies. My sister insisted it was true and pointed at the neighbor to verify her story. And she did. It was common knowledge of the street that there was a ghost behind the apartment row. Okay, now I'm creeped out. To make things worse, I asked my older siblings if ghosts are true, and she told me that they are. They also lived in the old apartment where I was raised until I was 4. She told me she always saw a sad girl in the corner of her eyes. And again, I was pretty creeped out. Also now, writing this gives me shivers because I finally come to the part which the title points to. I shrugged everything off and went on my day, also forgetting everything when I went to bed. Like I mentioned, the apartment was very small. My older sister and I slept on the floor of a tiny room. It was so small, barely fitting 2 mattresses on the floor. And not the nice mattresses for beds, more like a little camping mattress, with only a few centimeters of foam high. I could pretty much feel the floor. Also, it was the room of my younger sister, which she painted the walls black. She and my mom slept in another room with a bed. If you wanted to enter the room, you had to push the door from the outside really hard. It was like that because it was jammed into the frame and it didn't have a lock. Also, the mattresses were pushing from the inside against the door, also holding it in frame. So you really had to make an effort to open the door. We were sleeping when I slowly felt something at my ankle. From the door point of view, my sister slept left at the window with her back to me, and I slept in the middle, away from the right wall and directly in front of the door. I'm a belly sleeper and it was also very hot, so I didn't sleep with a blanket. When I felt something on my left foot, I shrugged it off the first time, kicking with the reflex, and also get the immediate answer for it. Something tugged my ankle so hard, I woke up. Of course, I thought it was a dream, like when you dream you fell off a building or missed a step. Also, I'm a lucid dreamer, but all this got messed up when I realized how I woke up. My leg, all the way to the knee, was outside the room. The door was pushed in, the mattress pushed up, and my leg on top of the pushed up mattress, in between the open door and frame. Something opened the door and pulled me outside. I was terrified to the bones, because this couldn't happen with all the pushing in the damn mattress. So I silently wailed, also choked and too afraid to scream. And then I crawled to my sister, hugging her for my life. She didn't really know what happened, and just kind of comforted me, half asleep, so she could continue sleeping. I was so scared, I almost thought I would stop breathing. I thought I couldn't sleep anymore. But when the shock wore off, I was too afraid to stay awake. I somehow managed to sleep after a few hours of staying awake. In the next morning, I was the last one to wake up. And the first thing that I did was I told my mom what happened, and she scolded my younger sister for playing a prank with me. But my sister defended herself and said that she didn't do it. And my mom was actually the witness. My sister slept with her in one bed. If she would have left the room, my mother would have noticed because she had to climb over her to get out. My mom is a very light sleeper. It was painfully silent when my mother noticed that my sister really didn't do it. After that, we knew that this experience was not a human's doing, and we didn't talk about it again. We stayed for another 5 days and nothing happened. I'm pretty sure it was just my delusional young mind, being infested with the stories of my sisters. But it was just too real to ignore the fact that this damn jammed door got opened and something pulled me outside. I'm just happy they don't live there anymore and I don't have to see that field again. I just spooked myself again with that damn story and I bet I can't sleep further. So, any thoughts? TLDR, visiting my sisters in the Philippines. Got told a ghost lives on the field behind their apartment. Said ghost opened and jammed the door and pulled me at my ankle out of the room at night. What do you think of this week's story? Do you have experiences with ghosts pulling you out of bed or pulling stuff out of the bed? If you do, share them over at the comment section down below. If you have stories you would want me to narrate, send your stories to mralamatph@gmail.com. And if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel to your friends and family. Salamat guys, and see you in the next one.